Ruth Nash is a 34-year-old woman. When she was 18 weeks pregnant with twins, her waters broke, which resulted in the premature birth of the babies. The young mom was told that her infants had no chance of surviving as they were too little. Unfortunately, Ruth lost her daughter, Matilda, a few days after she was born. She was able to postpone the birth of her baby Stanley by 3 weeks, only from lying down with elevated feet in her hospital bed. Her other twin, Stanley, came to this world after 24 weeks of pregnancy, weighing only 1 pound. "I wanted to do everything I could to become a mother," Mrs. Nash explained. "I was willing to try anything. So I climbed into bed, laid down and didn't move for the next few hours. It was predicted that I would almost certainly lose him." Matilda was born in St. Mary's Hospital. Unfortunately for her parents, the little baby only lived for barely 19 hours. Shortly after her premature daughter died, Ruth was transferred to the Queen Alexandra Hospital in Portsmouth. The young mom was hospitalized with an obligatory bed rest. The dedicated neonatal unit where she was admitted to later saw the birth of her son Stanley, 7 weeks after his sister. Stanley weighed less than a bag of sugar at birth. Doctors whisked Stanley out to the maternity unit. The newborn was immediately placed on a ventilator. Stanley underwent multiple operations, including the repair of a hole in his heart, in addition to the correction of an eye disorder that can cause babies to go blind. Ruth and her husband, Graham, were both unable to hold their infant for the first 5 weeks of his life. Despite everything, the little Stanley was a tough fighter, and against all odds, he made it through. At 6 months old, the baby didn't show any signs of illness. The little boy didn't seem to have any repercussions due to his dramatic entrance into the world. Stanley's mom described the moment she was finally able to hold her son as the finest moment of her life. "Even though I've lost a kid, I believe I'm the luckiest lady on the planet. At this time, it was the most stressful 3 weeks we ever encountered." Mr. Nash further added that the previous few months had also been difficult. "The journey may have been quite torturous, but we're grateful to have arrived with a healthy and lovely son in our arms." Despite losing a child and knowing that their son had very slim chances of cervical, Stanley's parents never gave up hope on their son, not even once. In another similar story of tiny babies, baby born weighing about as much as a large apple is the world's smallest surviving baby. Before she was even born, the doctors predicted that she would be a petite child. After only 23 weeks and 3 days of gestation, the miracle girl was delivered by emergency cesarean section. Her urgent birth was due to her mother suffering from preeclampsia, which is a potentially life-threatening illness that can cause a baby's growth to be stunted in the womb. Paul Wozniak was taken aback when he saw the baby he just delivered. "I was astonished," he says. As he later explained to the Washington Post, "I thought to myself, oh my God, I can't believe how small she is." Initially, physicians predicted that the baby would weigh around 400 grams, or a little less than a pound, but she turned out to be even smaller than they had anticipated. Wozniak admitted that he was surprised by the size of the baby and couldn't believe she could survive with such a tiny body. The baby, who had been named Sabi by her nurses and doctors, was born weighing only 8.6 ounces, which made her making her the world's tiniest surviving infant at the time of her birth. Even though Sabi was a micro-preemie, or a premature newborn born before 28 weeks, she survived despite her small stature and a myriad of health issues that could be fatal for a premature infant of any age. Sabi's parents, who asked to remain anonymous, were able to take their healthy 5-pound infant home earlier this month after nearly 5 months in the neonatal critical care unit, according to the hospital. "I was very taken aback," Wozniak admitted. He went on to say that he spoke with Sabi's mother on Wednesday, who informed him that her daughter had grown to 6 pounds 2 ounces and was doing fantastic. Sadie's view, on the other hand, wasn't always so optimistic. It all started on that December day when Sabi's mother began to feel unwell for no apparent reason. "It was the most terrifying day of my life. The woman's mother said, according to a video published by the hospital on Wednesday, "I just felt quite uncomfortable and I wondered if this was a normal part of being pregnant at the time." Upon further examination, doctors determined that she had preeclampsia, which can result in high blood pressure. According to the Mayo Clinic, if preeclampsia is left untreated, it can result in significant, and in some cases deadly, consequences for both the mother and the infant. During a news conference on Wednesday, Dana Shortkoff, the OB-GYN who delivered Sabai, said the mother had severely high blood pressure and that she needed to come out if the baby's life was to be preserved. According to the mother, who spoke on video, "I kept telling them that she wasn't going to survive because she was only 23 weeks. The average pregnancy lasts 40 weeks. According to Wozniak, the national survival rate for kids born at the same period as Sadie is approximately 20%. According to the Washington Post, several studies from recent years have reported statistics that are equally depressing. At the time of her birth in December, Sabe wasn't breathing, but she did have a healthy heartbeat. According to Wozniak, she had a heart rate, and her parents determined that if she had one, they wanted everything done. According to him, Sadie's petite size, which was caused in part by the preeclampsia, made her position all the more difficult. According to Wozniak, who added that the hospital had seen its fair share of 23-weekers, it was difficult to obtain equipment that was the correct size. He explained, noting that even the built-in scales in the NICU resuscitation beds were unable to capture her weight because they couldn't go below 300 grams. One of the first things that Wozniak and his team had to do was place a breathing tube in the patient. He explained that a straw around the size of a juice box straw needed to be shortened before it could be successfully inserted. He explained that Sabai had been warmed up, dried up, and given medicine to help her breathe. The only thing left for them to do was to wait. "We didn't do anything but sit at her bedside for the next 6 hours. Wozniak added, "Her odds of making it were, in my opinion, slim to non-existent. I told the family that I would inform them every hour, but there's a good probability that she's going to die." When asked about it in the video, the mother stated that she remembered physicians informing Sabi's father that she would only have about an hour with his daughter before she passed away. "It took her an hour to realize what had happened, but that hour became 2 hours," she explained, "and that day became a week as Sadie's nurses and physicians watched her gradually improve and gain weight. They were increasingly concerned about the variety of life-threatening medical issues that micropreemies can encounter. It's not uncommon for brain bleeds, lung problems, and heart problems to arise." Nevertheless, much to everyone's surprise, Sabai had virtually none of these consequences. According to the hospital statement, "She's a miracle, there's no doubt about it." Kim Norby, one of the NIC nurses who cared for Sabe, said in a video released by the hospital, Sadie's crib was surrounded by brightly colored signs, which could be seen plastered on the walls in the video. Some people kept note overweight and other significant achievements. "There would be no more breathing tube." One of the signs said the phrase "tiny but mighty" was used by someone. Sabi continued to astonish doctors with her improvement right up until the day she was discharged, according to Wozniak's account. According to the doctor, "Many kids like this go home on oxygen, which I thought was likely for her, but no, she was weaned off of it." He added, adding that she was also breastfeeding effectively and didn't require a feeding tube. "This is such a lovely gift, and it makes the entire team feel wonderful to know she's done so well." Despite the fact that Sabai appears to have beaten the odds for the time being, Wozniak believes that this may alter as she grows older. Mild vision impairments, fine motor challenges, language delays, and other learning disabilities, and premature newborns, especially those born as early as Sabai,